Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show of people. Belize our hopes for to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that will happen like dark blue skies. I love it make people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play around, get where you need to. You can tune in from work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait till the time calling? It's a show with no matter even if you're at home. Just call in. WB. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show of people. Belize our hopes so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. Is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes. WB. And all the things that will happen like dark blue skies. I love it make people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB.
Good morning, Belize. Welcome to the WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes on Tuesday, 18th February 2025. And wherever you are, we hope that your day is getting off to a beautiful start, especially that you're starting it with us. You know, we have that particular bias. We love when you're there, listening to Creme Radio, watching XTV. Nice. Mose Hyde here, hosting today. And we got to welcome everybody that's listening to the radio, watching us on television, via apps, social media streams, or simulcast coverage. Trusting, of course, that you have great health. That's first and foremost. You've got that energy, that rev, that let's go kind of attitude. Your vibrations are positive. And your morning routine is flexible, spacious. You could do other things besides getting ready for the new day. That means that you could be a part of WB. You could also reach out and engage. You know that's how we work. But before we get there, we got the startups. We've got a bit of news to give to you. But before the news, we've got the general weather forecast that's given to us by the National Meteorological Service. And we've got forecaster Tariq Matthews to serve it up this morning.
Somewhat moist conditions will prevail today, then drier conditions will start to set in tonight. The 24-hour forecast, skies will be sunny with cloudy spells today and partly cloudy skies tonight. Showers will be generally isolated today, with slightly more occurring mainly over central and southern areas. Tonight, showers will be isolated. The maximum temperatures for today will reach 85 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 88 inland, and 76 up in the hills. The low temperatures for tonight will be around 77 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 70 inland, and 65 up in the hills. The winds from the open sea will be from the east at 10 to 15 knots, and the sea conditions will be choppy. A low tide will occur this morning at 7:20, a high tide this afternoon at 1:10, another low tide tonight at 8:36, and another high tide early tomorrow morning at 2:17. The sun will rise this morning at 6:17 and will set this evening at 5:55. The moon will set this morning at 9:50 and will rise tonight at 11:03. The outlook for Wednesday and Wednesday night is for mainly fair weather with only isolated showers. There is also the possibility of an isolated thunderstorms developing over the Maya Mountains Wednesday afternoon or evening. For a review of our forecast and other products, please visit our website at nms.gov.bz. With that, we end this morning's forecast for the Belize National Met Service.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989 presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
And now news. The last Senate meeting for this parliamentary term happened on Monday, February 10th. The session was delayed by an entire hour because members of the Senate Special Select Committee investigating the genesis and aftermath of the Portico Definitive Agreement were urging the President of the Senate, Carolyn Trent Sandiford, to have their report laid on the table and printed. They had submitted the report on February 6th and made the request for it to be laid on the table at the February 10th Senate meeting. However, the day before Sunday, February 9th, they received a letter from the President stating that she is compelled by my constitutional duty to protect both the integrity of the Senate and taxpayers' money. This requires conducting due diligence prior to acceding to your request, such that I am satisfied as far as is practical and can reasonably be ascertained that the report contains nothing that opens the government of Belize to a lawsuit. A leaked letter from the members of the committee to the President dated Tuesday, February 11th indicates that she repeated that position during the discussion before the start of the Senate meeting Monday. In the letter, the senators on the committee urged the President to ensure that once her due diligence is complete, the report is ordered to be laid on the table and become a public document at the next Senate meeting. This request is consequential because there is an interpretation that the report was effectively killed now that this session of Parliament is over. We note that the standing orders of the Senate at Section 75(1) state, every select committee shall, before the end of the session in which it was appointed, make a report to the Senate upon the matters referred to it. But where a select committee finds itself unable to conclude its investigations before the end of the session, it may so report to the Senate. Representatives of the Coalition of Memorial Hospital Workers Union met in Bamapan Monday morning with government officials as they strive to gain pension benefits for staff members for the period before 2018. Andrew Baird, the president of the union, shared that some proposals were put on the table, but he could not divulge details as they have to report back to members first. He was asked if the proposals are acceptable to them.
There is still the I's and T's, I's that need to be dotted and the T's that need to be crossed as far as, and some fine-tuning as far as coming to any agreement. Each sides have a responsibility to carry through with. The government side will have to produce a template to the union in reference to what is required from us, and we have a responsibility to insert those our 300 members into that template and to see where they are placed as far as categories and stuff like that. And in a week or two, we come back to the table to further discuss and think. I would hope that within the next couple months or so that we will be able to come under some agreement. and get this over with. But I must say, our first and foremost position at the table is to have these 300 staff accumulation be placed back into the pension as other government workers, the pension matrix as other government workers and thing. But we are open to other suggestions from the government.
So are the protests being put on pause at this time?
By the mandate of our membership and staff, we will not cancel or postpone any of our plans because the members want to see this through, and we will not let down by meetings or so unless there is some concrete agreement that the government will come to us with that we can agree to as well.
On Monday, the Court of Appeal was set to hear an application for injunction to stop the government from transferring the 23.4-acre extension of Stake Bank Island that was in the name of Michael Finstein to Stake Bank Enterprises Limited, currently under receivership. However, because the land has already been transferred following government's compulsory acquisition, Finstein withdrew the summons. Finstein is also appealing the High Court decision handed down on January 29th in favor of the government after he challenged the compulsory acquisition. We are told case management for the appeal is expected in April, with the hearing set to occur sometime in June. We asked Minister of Natural Resources Honorable Colonel Hyde about the appeal and what happens now that the land has been transferred to SBEL.
Well, it's an appeal and you have litigious risk. I mean, anything can happen, you never know. That's why we go to court. That's why people go to court, because you hope for a good result. We are pleased that we got the result that we got in the High Court, but you don't ever know what's going to happen at the Court of Appeal. We just have to kind of wait and see, but in the process, we're moving forward.
So it's vested already in SBEL?
Yeah, it's, well, the intention was, as the stated
They have title now?
Yes. The stated intention from the beginning was that we were going to compulsorily acquire this for public purpose, that public purpose being to vest it in this company so that they can complete the project. The public benefit being that all the jobs that will be created in this developmental stage, all the jobs that will be created post-construction, the boom to the economy, the uplift with the tourism product, because the truth is that without a side-along or whatever they call it, cruise port, you have a problem with cruise ship coming. Like there's been drop in the cruise tourists that's coming to Belize because of that. And so if that project can be completed, then that would be a benefit to the cruise, for the tourism product, and be a benefit to the country on a whole. And that's the rationale that we used, and we'll see how it goes.
And are they supposed to pay for that land? I know there was a fund. What happens in practice?
Well, in practice, they paid for the land, but in practice, there is a court case trying to determine whether the land belongs to Stake Bank or whether the land belongs to the other principal. That court will decide, that case will decide a lot. If it's decided that it's for Stake Bank, then it all falls away. If it's decided that it's for Finstein and personally, then the government will have to compensate them. And then that is when the guarantee kicks in, right? Because ultimately, the guarantee is that it will not come at any cost to the people of Belize. So ultimately, once a compensation has to be paid, then they will pay it.
Two brothers from Hopkins were injured in a bee attack through the Coastal Plains Highway sometime around 5 Sunday evening. One brother is in the hospital receiving treatment as he was most seriously injured during the incident. Reports are they were traveling in a vehicle when a couple of killer bees got inside. In trying to get them off, the driver crashed into a lamppost. He had taken off his seatbelt and fell out of the vehicle upon impact, and that is when the bees fiercely attacked him. During the ordeal, he ended up in a steep drain. Marilyn Marine Patton and her husband were heading towards Belize City when they came upon the scene and assisted the brothers.
When we got there, the vehicle had already hit the pole, but the two men that were close to the vehicle were running around the vehicle and brushing over themselves. And at the time, we couldn't tell what it was. And as we got closer, we can see bees. And one of the guys actually fell back into one of the drains, but they were like hysterically trying to get away. We pulled over, me and my husband, answered the captain, and I told him, grab water. And so we grabbed the water and we both exited our vehicle and we went towards the men with the water. But as we're going towards the men and they're coming towards us, now the bees are coming and it started attacking us. So I ran back and my husband went for one guy and I went for the other guy and I'm telling him, come, come, come. And he came towards me but the more he's coming towards me, it's more bees coming. So now we're both running back, like up the highway, and I'm throwing water on him. But then now the bees are coming on me, so I had a washcloth, and I'm flagging the washcloth, just brushing. But then he still has bees stuck to him, so I'm hitting him with the rag, and we kept going. He took off his shirt, and finally, like the only bees that were there were the ones that was physically stuck to him, so they weren't bothering me anymore. The one I was trying to help was not as bad as the one my husband was trying to help because they were still both in the area. But the guy that was driving, which is the one that was really, really hurt, he was bleeding and he tried to walk down the road, but he's staggering now. He was covered with these little white things that the bees leave in you. The Coastal Highway Patrol showed up. I've heard about the killer bees. I never expected to see something like that. Of course, not in Belize. But only one single bee actually stung me, and you should see the area where that bee stung me. If my one stung looks like this, I can't even imagine what those other two brothers look like. I pray for them.
Another good Samaritan assisted in taking the second brother to the hospital. That's the end of our morning news update. We will take ourselves a small break, and when we come back on the other side, we're going to open up for conversation. You're listening to Creme Radio, you're watching XTV.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989. The news. Informative, accurate, current information, local
All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Mose Hyde hosting on this Tuesday morning. And as you know, after a quarter century of conversations that it is not to be a sermon or one man thing or a one woman thing for that matter. It's about how many people can actually be a part of the conversation each weekday morning. And so to achieve this, we've got a phone number that you can call. That telephone number is 280-5848. And with relative ease, at least unless somebody else has beaten you to it, you are able to become a part of the conversation and engage us and tell us what's going on with you on a Tuesday morning. Yesterday, while we wait for you to jump in, yesterday, of course, we had our dear brother from the south, one of our dear brothers, Brother Ewart Garbett, joined us, and it's quite an engaging conversation, always a very engaging, passionate, grassroots conversation when we have Brother Ewart with us. And out of that, I was unaware that there was a conversation last week, but I have a call. Krem, good morning. WB. Good morning.
Yes, greetings and respect, Ramos.
Greetings.
This is Ramadan X, the filmigo. I just want to call in regards to what you had expressed yesterday, or day before yesterday, in regards to Marisol Amaya. I am a person, I don't like to buy friendship nor sell friendship, but I give respect to respect due. Marisol Amaya, I know him from a distance. I have met her and spoke to her a couple times, and I know her to be a person of a noble character, straight to the point, somebody will know what he's doing, and I would put my hand in the fire for defending somebody like her. So due respect to Marisol Amaya, I don't know the confusion of the other person, but he better knows, I guess he doesn't know who she really is. I give respect to Marisol Amaya 100%, supporting what you say, my brother. Malcolm X say, if you speak the truth, nobody like you. But when you speak the truth, even the devil have to respect you. One love, respect.
All right, Brother Ramadan, give thanks. So apparently last week, it was Miss Coy who called in yesterday talking about a conversation that was held with Brother Noure hosting, and I believe the guest was Mr. Arturo Lizaraga, where there was a conversation about offshore drilling, drilling for oil. But we have a call. Krem, good morning, WB. All right, we lost the call. The telephone number is 280-5848 for you to be a part of the conversation. And the whole, I've known that you've had people who feel one way, sour about the fact that the efforts to prevent drilling offshore has been to this point successful. I have people who feel like that, no, why should that be? And they feel like it was largely a foreign NGO that drove that conversation, meaning Oceana. So we as people now have the ability apparently for decide what we want for ourselves, then it's easy to make an argument because this NGO was so significant and so involved in that matter of trying to get leadership to see that that's not the way, and the historic mock referendum demonstrated that, you know, you don't even have to be some polling expert to know that if you got out so many people on this matter, that this was not something that the people of Belize are interested in. And though an actual referendum was not held, people and leadership got the sense. They have not convinced us. But the way these things work, and I think it was but a Garbett who said that he wants to be like a child, where once you've promised a child a thing, a child is going to nag you and is not going to let you forget that you promised them either to go to the swimming pool, or you promised them ice cream, or you promised them to watch a certain movie. Like a child does not accept that, well, you have forgotten or that you misled. A child is going to stay at you. And so he says he's going to take that page from the way children operate and, in a way, keep leaders accountable. The thing about that is that that kind of stubbornness is also held by people who might not necessarily have the best intentions. So those who would want, who are positioned to benefit, you know, they don't want to hear nothing about the seabed, they don't want to hear nothing about marine life, they don't want to hear nothing about the reef. They know what money they're there and then could have been a part of it. So that never stops. So I think what came out last week is just a bit of what you would call the background come to the front, because the people who are believers in this, they're not going to just say, well, when, you know, we can't do nothing about that. The people say what they're saying at 2012, and when we try to do anything, when we try bringing any kind of boat for do the echo radaring, whatever they may do with the echo analysis of the seabed and all of that, there was strong opposition in San Pedro, and political directorate had to backtrack, and we have a moratorium, and the coalition against offshore drilling remains very strong and very alert. And it's not as if though these battles have been won and you can forget them and it's laid to rest, because those who have that interest are not people who just take one L just like that. They don't. The powerful, the affluent, they don't take L's like that. Then that's not how they become what they have become. And so I imagine that the way it works, and we've been talking about this, that one of the byproducts of having the kind of leadership that exists right now in Washington with the re-election of Mr. Trump for his second term after having been defeated in 2020 is that the attitude that says, yeah, but we don't have no time for no environment. So now there is this messaging going out to the point where something that seems almost frivolous, the president's attitude towards paper straws, that is such a disgust with the whole consciousness of trying to respect your environment. There is such a disgust that exists that the most powerful elected person in the world has made it a point to say, I ain't even want with you with no paper straws. There is a negative view towards electric vehicles. There is a breaking apart of whatever science, effort, funding, anything to do. There is just the most powerful, influential seat on the planet has really declared war. He has withdrawn from the agreement, which was already not an agreement that was going to change the trajectory of the planet that much when it comes to climate change, but it still represented some kind of aspiration, some kind of collaboration. Well, no, we don't even need that withdrawal. That's one of the first things they did. So now in 2025, what that does, all over the world, you have people who they don't want to hear nothing about the environment, they don't want to hear nothing about no sustainable development. They want just, yo, we have to take, we have to grab, we have to drill, we have to cut. That is what now, that is the fever that is taking over the plan. We don't want to hear nothing about what you to deal with. We don't want no restrictions. We don't want no limitations. We don't want no agreements with tie with hand dealing with for we economic engine and what we need. We need oil, we're going, we are dig wherever it there, matter, we are just, as in the words of the president, drill, drill, drill. So, when you hear such things emerge, you realize that there comes now a time where you have to say, well, you can't rest on what has been done, because it comes as no surprise that you are going to start to hear those voices now on the forefront. And you're going to have that kind of agitation that like everything start to get, and then start to feel, build up spirit again to see if they can figure a way to convince us that this is something that we should do. Because man, if we find oil, men that are being a big money, we are pave the streets with gold, we are all manners of great things will happen, and we would be stupid enough to explore that and take advantage of that. As our esteemed teacher, Ms. Corey, said yesterday, ultimately, the old saying, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Which means that something where you don't have in your possession yet can't possibly have the same weight as something where you don't secure and able to access and take advantage of. What you don't got have far more value than something where you could have, where exists out there. And when you decide where you going with, maybe I could have get away in the bush too, and you give up in your hand, that is not an intelligent, that's not intelligent decision making. Way in your hand, the goal. And so you might say, this conversation, it's not in the news, why do they talk about it? It is all around us, though. What we have on call? Krem, good morning. Krem, good morning.
Oh, I was trying to call you right so I turn over, that's what I was trying to go through it. Well, I'm glad that I'm calling for other matters, but I'm glad that you have brought up that matter, Mose. You see, our problem in countries like Belize, Latin America, Africa, and so, part of the reason we can be accused of still being colonized is we are not disposed to think independently. We don't understand that when those people go to university, they go to learn to be able to think outside the box, to be able to think beyond the present solution. We don't do that. We go there, and then we come back and we mouth every theory they have in the book, and nothing changes. So when we go to university, we go to keep the status quo in place. They go, yes, in part to maintain the status quo, but should the status quo not be serving them, then they understand that they have the tools to change it. So, the last person you want to be copying is somebody. There is no question that Western civilization needs severe correction. The world civilization needs severe correction. There's no question about that. But are you going to do it by dismantling everything that's there, leaving nothing in place? Because if that's what you're doing, then you're doing what the barbarian tribes did to Rome when they arrived at the gates of Rome in 410 AD and said, raise about $500 billion to do that. But what is the use of research into AI if you don't have the other supporting set? The scientific research constitutes a whole, and AI is only a portion of the set of pie. Well, things. I had never given thought that some of the USAID money goes to funding clinical trials. So I am very, very skeptical, and I'm not somebody who is going to be falling in love with clinical trials just like that. Because clinical trials have been used for them to gather information, and the people who have participated have ended up dead and ill and all kind of things. We don't need to go any further than the Tuskegee research into syphilis in the United States. There's other research that took place with AIDS using prostitutes in the Dominican Republic and Guatemala and all of that. Some of those things are cases that are in U.S. court. So clinical trials can be well informed, but you can't just drop a process or a medication or anything on any population or on the world population without it having been tested. And clinical trials constitute that. So it turns out that by bringing to our home the USAID program, there are people trapped in clinical trials now who were recruited into the clinical trials because they have certain illness, XYZ illness or mental problem, different problems, and that is where they are getting their medication from because the medication is being tested on them. So they are not in any other program. They are not under any other care. They are under that care. And by bringing this thing to an end, those people are now left abandoned. It's such an unethical action. As I tell you, I'm not advocating the clinical trials the people are involved in, but I understand the principle that by severing financing for USAID, one of the things that got affected was the USAID involvement in clinical trials and the people involved. If let's just say USAID was fully, totally, committed to minimizing the risk to those people's risk has gone up 100-fold and more. You see what I mean? Now, another example I'm going to give you is, the European media has reported endometriosis, which is a problem that affects the womb of women, right? Well, the endometrial tissue of women have different ages. For example, African women have some of the oldest genetic coding for endometrial tissue in the world because they have been around the longest. Well, to be diagnosed with endometriosis is a very complex matter, and it takes long. And as processes have evolved and technology has become advanced, now they can use MRI and all of that. But it still takes long. And in fact, they have to wait until a certain level of development has been reached in the illness. Well, now they are able to use AI to analyze the sputum, the saliva, the spit of women. And because AI brings together vast amounts of information, and if you're using a quantum methodology, a quantum technological structure, you can do parallel processing. That they're able to process that in a time unmatched in the other methodology. So you're able to get your analysis, I'm not going to say overnight compared to that, to the older methods. And as a consequence, your cure can begin, your treatment can begin, the misery in your life can start coming under control sooner You understand what I mean? That means, how are you going to go to doing Indonesia this year if all you're going to be concentrating your research on is how to build more advanced, etc., and AI and AI structures, generative because you need to have the medical knowledge on endometriosis. You see what I mean? So the point that you're making, taking up from that, we must not be quick to jump in bed with a gentleman and his followers, and not only in America, in Europe and everywhere else, wherever they are, because these people seem to have decided to abandon scientific thought. Isn't that your impression, no?
They're abandoning any scientific thought that that they deem to be an inconvenience to them.
Well, it's the majority of scientific thought because if you're going to shut down the whole
because I think because to an extent the attack on the health science and the funding for health science and research that's a bit of a vengeance, no? At least because Mr. Trump feels that.
What you mean that that is not necessarily totally because they are anti-science, but because he has a bone to pick. He has
a bone to pick because of what happened during the pandemic.
I never even thought of that, you know. Well, exactly so. Well, now this is the person that you are going to make manage your processes, man. We need to do better than that. That's number one. Look, the very behavior of these types of people is questionable. When religion leaders look at people, look at the rest of the world, the Europeans are not going to allow themselves to be led by any cheap black religion. They're not going to do that. As a consequence, they are taking a back and say, okay, you want to bring the European, American, Atlantic, and Western planet, so we are going to proceed with it, and we are going to establish a European defense force. Do you think that European defense force is really to protect themselves?
Hello?
Well, do you think that European defense force that they are proposing to create is really to protect themselves? I think it's really to protect themselves.
No, I don't understand your question, Ms. Corey. You are asking if the European Defense Force, who they are creating it to defend against?
Yes, to really defend against.
I believe that they're going to use it to defend against migrants. That's how I see it.
No.
Well, I don't know what's there. They're going to say that it is against the Russians. They're probably going to say it is against the threat that Russia and Mr. Putin represent.
But isn't it really because they have become alarmed at what is happening on the other side of the Atlantic?
Well, yeah, they are caught off guard by what has happened over the weekend, and they have scrambled now to reset based on what they
have to reset.
And it didn't take them a month or 6 months or a year.
Exactly.
It took them less than 24 hours.
Less than 24 hours.
Meanwhile, CARICOM leaders and Latin American leaders are twiddling their thumbs and looking at each other.
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
That the European solidarity, they realize something has gone wrong here. We don't understand the society because the world is terrible and what, and it looks like a world is torn. And whatever has torn, no one will tell me that I will pay and so on. That is what is happening there, and we should pay what they want of us. And this brings me to the point I really call in Mose. Because once you have to sleep at your own eyes, you have to sit down and say, especially this is you can't tolerate that problem what the party have put. They are heading to do an examination of themselves and the entire family at the way they are going. And more, I don't know if you're aware that the African Union, in their meeting in Addis Ababa, meeting with everyone.
I don't know why there is there's a reverb on the audio on the call. I'm really struggling to hear certain words you're saying, Ms. Corey. I don't know. I heard very little of what you said. I heard the African.
Is it better now?
It's better.
All right. So the African Union, in their meeting in Addis Ababa this week here on, they too are taking overnight decisions. Look at how South Africa has dealt with the matter of threat of they don't know if they'll go to the G20. They are taking back funding. The USAID funding is affecting AIDS and TB people. AIDS, I think it's primarily, the Prime Minister, Mr. Ramaphosa said AIDS and tuberculosis. He didn't mention any other sickness that I heard when I heard his speech. So they are not wasting any time either. They are moving to organize themselves. And one of the things they are organizing for the very first time, the African Union is now issuing a call for reparation from the Euro-colonial project. And I'm making that specific because Africa has been subject to two great colonial projects, and they both have left dreadful scars on them. The Arab Islamic colonial project and the Euro-Christian colonial project. Both of them have left great scars. But they've never done this before. And they're doing this now. And I didn't get a chance to listen to the full discussion, but my analysis is that Africa in the European colonial project has experienced two waves of slavery, enforced labor, and all that goes with that. One is the movement of the African population out of the continent into the Americas, with a portion of them, a small portion going east into Asia. And then there is the expansion of Europe into Africa in the 19th century, particularly after the partition of Africa meeting in Berlin, when they would then begin the mass in situ, in place, within the African continent itself, of cheap labor, slavery, enforced labor. An example is in the mine in Rhodesia. 30,000 people died between 1904 and around 1932-33. So when you work that out, that works out to around 20 per week. 20 people dying a week. And that is not only Rhodesia. There was South Africa. The Eastern Africa, then you move to the Central Africa, the Congo, and the mining carried on by Belgium there. Then you come to the Western coastal area and the destruction as they moved into commercial agriculture, cocoa, and all of that. Plus, that is only the economic. The socio-political was, for example, indirect rule in Nigeria, Ghana, which created its own that I had bought. And when 1992 and the 500th anniversary, I went back to that text to do a refamiliarization with some basic facts. And in the course of doing that, came upon a bit. Now, I must have read that before, but I didn't recall it. But I know definitely I read it then. It was not a part of the chapter. It was not a page within the chapter, but it was one of your side notes and extra expanded materials that is included in many American textbooks. And that thing dealt with the loss of population in both colonial years and the significance of that loss. And to understand what the loss of population does to our people, just go to Europe. When the Black Plague set across Europe, Europe would lose 25 to 50% of its population. So when you have mass dying of people, especially in the non-industrialized period of that time, what you had was loss of memory. You have loss of memory anyway. But they had a greater loss of memory because they had not yet invented printing. Printing was just going to emerge on the scene. So the people dying, the institutional memory, let's say glass making, which was one of the important technological activities of the medieval age. If everybody died in a glass making shop, the older generation, then the younger ones don't have the memory anymore. You see? And that happened. And that has not really been evaluated within the African context, but it had to have had the same effect. So I haven't yet familiarized myself whether they have structured and articulated their demands. But I just thought that that's a significant thing, and I think that the Caribbean should move to join.
I just wanted to put in that what you're describing, that what the European Union did over the past couple of days, yesterday in fact, represents, I know that people who listen to this show for a long time know that I generally try to keep the conversation when I get to speak on domestic things. You've been one of those few callers who would, from time to time, introduce a broader conversation, geopolitical conversation, a historical conversation, which is greatly appreciated. But because I understand, to some extent, I have to deal with the demand-supply realities that people are more interested in what's happening right there in proximity to them. So speaking about what's happening on the planet now is not just because there's some kind of fascination with it. I want listeners and viewers to understand that every magazine, online news I read from all areas, there is a preoccupation with what has happened with the what we call the normal rhythms of the planet since Mr. Trump. To put it in a more simpler terms, everything they turn upside down right now, and everybody they in a full panic mode, or they in a response mode. One of the few places where no seem for worry about that right now, that a place where I'd confirm. So that troubling to me for make, if you go by where I'd look wrong here, it's like everything that is same, not go on, everything that is norm. So it's like if a category 5 is west of Jamaica, somewhere along 16 degrees longitude, and we'd go on as business as usual, I would be extremely worried. And not just Belize, but this region seems discoordinated. We seem paralyzed, and Listen, we're talking here about a person who has taken the most powerful seat on the planet and has a mindset that if a media organization like the Associated Press, which is I don't know how old the Associated, but it's a prestigious institution, and essentially bans it, not because of something it has written which contravenes some constitutional principle or some American value. No, because they have not gone along with calling the Gulf of Mexico Gulf of America. They have been penalized. When you are
and which one is right? They are right. We haven't, everybody, that name of that place has not been changed by consultation and unanimous decision of the planet. Nobody has done that. So you're not going to change it here on scale like that. And that is why they have acted that way, but they have been penalized for that.
And they have to understand that that's a huge penalty. That's not a slap, because when you have that organization not having access to the press conferences in the White House or being able to, that limits their ability to defend their product. It's an undermining of their business model. It's not.
What I think also happened was in either one or two of those meetings in Latin America, the foreign press was very, I don't know if that was wide representation, but definitely I wasn't able to get up to ask questions. But what the questions the foreign press got up to ask were on point. And if I am not mistaken, in one of those Associated Press was present, dealing with Gaza, doing exactly what the Venetian press have to do. We are still a hijack. When you're trying to get a hold of the leadership, you have to figure out the place where you can get them and expose them the best. And then, so they flew from where, New York, wherever, where to the Dominican Republic and to Cuba to ask the question that didn't have anything much to do with the Central American region. And so I think their anger, I realized that anger would build up against the foreign press for that. And I think one of them had the Associated Press, but I don't have, but definitely it's the Gulf of Mexico affair. So you're not dealing, the points that you are making, I think, is that you're not dealing with rational thinking.
You're not dealing with rational thinking. You're dealing with a level of a very punitive approach, if that's the word. A very it's a iron fist. Their responses are not going to be subtle. They will not be. I don't know much about the lady who has become the president of Mexico. I read a little about her, but I have to look in the region and say that she has emerged as one of the leaders that seems to be better prepared, seems to have had some kind of anticipation, because something emerged last week that I considered really brilliant. In response to the new administration's approach to dealing with, I think they were contemplating making the cartels a terrorist organization. I know that they are now, I read this morning, CIA drones are now being used in Mexico to go after the cartel. Her response is to calmly say, cool, we are going to sue your gun manufacturers because it's you are saying we have not done enough to stop fentanyl and other products from coming into your country, but what have you done to stop your guns from coming into our country?
the envelope preceding her began that process?
I was not aware of that, but she has now voiced that, and to some extent has stalled that administration in the way it was approaching, because whether or not that turns out to be something that is, successful or not, it speaks to the fact that you have to be thinking in our way apart. The old way are just to sit down and wait for see how you will be.
You literally have to be thinking 24/7/52. Bearing in mind that while we on this side of the Atlantic, okay, let's take the lead. It is what time now? What is the time? 7:30 thereabouts. In Chetumal, they are 2 hours ahead of us because they are not, even though we're on the same, virtually the same line of longitude, they are going by.
I think it's 1 hour. Is it 1 hour? Is it one? Isn't it 1 hour? 1 hour? 1 hour ahead?
1 hour or 2 hours ahead of us. They're ahead of us.
Yeah.
But that's how they settle out. Then cross the Atlantic, you're going 8 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours. Something is happening every minute in the day. Literally 24 hours invigilating now. I don't know if the government has assigned anybody in their score. So who will be responsible for daily reports, hourly reports, whatever new reports come out of activity emanating out of the White House? Don't you think that should be done?
I think that is extremely logical. It's as using his term, that he says he's praised for. That's common sense. You cannot.
Yes, you exactly. So you can't. You literally can't see. They don't know what else. One judge was called upon to rule in the three men at Guantanamo Bay on the road sign. This was because I don't remember the details of the ruling, but he actually was asked while he was driving on the road. He received a call and had to do the intervention there on the roadside, because if he didn't know what was going to happen by the time he got to the office. So all of that is happening as we speak, and we can't let down those people who are attempting to keep sanity in place. If we have the choice. We're either going to add to sanity or insanity. It's one or the other. You don't have a middle road anymore. You're either going to be aiding and abetting sanity or aiding and abetting insanity. One or the other. Don't you agree, Deborah?
Well, I mean, I think that is the norm, but I think we have one belief in our Anansi skills, and I don't see where. I think we go and believe in our Anansi skills. We feel like we could outsmart whatever.
The problem. We were practicing Anansi on them, but Anansi not working at it.
I know. Thanks for the call. I don't see Anansi the work against them people. I know them people they play tech and then they play all. But we go to 2 Cents Cam. It's sponsored by Fort Point Security. And then we take our first break after 2 Cents Cam. We come back with more WB Wake Up Billy's Morning Vibes.
Live for politicians, you're watching WB, and this is XTV. Big up to our sponsors, 4 Point Security and Euphrates Auto Rental. Down here in Placencia, there's a lot of challenges the locals they face. Some are fishermen, some are tour guys. Let's go find out the people in 2 Cents and make we hear about some of the challenges that they face. The 2 Cents question of the day. What's some of the challenges the tour guide and the fisherman they face every day?
Well, actually, I could give you the version of my place where I live.
All right.
It's because, like I said, I grew up here. I see it day by day, and everything change day by day. The original way we like it when we grew up with it and have it together, it was a lot of fun.
All right.
But you see, when a lot of people come in would bring money to say, I wanted to change things, some of the local that really would say, this is a money-making thing. They didn't realize, like what my father would say, we let go the bone and grab the shadow. So the thing is, that yes, some of the investments are okay with who really make the investment worthwhile.
Yeah.
But when you have some of these rich money-making things, they come in here and it's like they see where that they could make 3 or 4 times more. So they buy for a little bit of nothing, pretend that everything is so good. When you get to find out, they use you that they could make something, and that's exactly what they do. So they spoil our quality or everything that we used to know. So only me and this and my cousin, another one, we still have a traditional way. And a lot of people learn off what we know, because the new guys that come in to be a tour guide or whatever, they really don't know nothing. So they have to learn from the local, which is, I am one original local. And most fishermen will say original local. So we don't go to school to learn about sea. You have to inherit that.
This is our livelihood. I'm a freelance tour guide. I work for all the different companies there in the village, And also I'm an aspiring entrepreneur. I want to get my own business, do my own thing. But from previous years, where I say it's a growing industry, right?
Yes.
That's for we biggest GDP, and it grow. Back in the days, so like when we had the least small shop, you have a lot of walk-in guests. People that write down how much people will go up on a tour, but now it get more advanced. Our new era, we get a lot of pre-booked tours, whereby, bigger shops with the bigger marketing, then take over, right? And
so if you send a message out, what are the message you don't want to send out to the public, make them know some of the struggles that one of the face?
Book local. Yeah, that might cry. Book local. Come and meet the real people. They have a lot of concierge, a lot of them people at them big resort. No problem with them. They have all of them studies and everything, But that the local people have the expertise that we and Courier go fishing, we and Courier go snorkel. So all these big places then could bring 100 people, but then they have the local guys then for carrying out. Okay. You don't get that Belizean experience. So that one of my main cry. Make we book local, make we have one standard so the people then could feel the benefit of tourism.
One of the questions they may ask, are the locals have their license?
Yes, for the most part, Placencia. Like I said, I'm a part of the Placencia Tour Guide Association as well. We are very, very respectful when it comes to renewing our license, getting our boats up to standard, even our attires, because we get it a lot between the cruise ships and different feedbacks. We get people that have been in Honduras, attire is not good, boats not up to par. As you come to Belize, Placencia, boom, these guys are up to par. So we want to keep it that way.
And that's your 2 cents.
That's my 2 cents.
So 2 cent question on the day, right? I say you guys make sure that every day you guys go do want to do best. I want to love best, right? What's some of the challenges you face? What are your 2 cents as a fisherman?
Challenges are weather, and sometimes it could be overfish. Yeah, so sustainable fishing will be one of the best things for us to do. Yeah, or limit on the amount of fish, as it could be overfish.
And some of the other fishermen, they tell me that what happens is that the tourists come in and want to take over the fishing business. What are your 2 cents?
Unless, I see some of the tourists go out in their own boat, Yeah. So that could be a big challenge.
Because that take out local, right?
Yeah.
An everyday lifestyle.
Yeah, that's true. Take away some jobs from the locals. That's true.
Are your 2 cents?
Yes, sir.
2 cent question of the day. You as a fisherman, I'm a tour guide. What are some of the challenges you face here in Placencia?
Well, a lot of the challenges we face here, the foreigners will come in and they take away the job from the local fishermen. And we try to lobby along with government and with anything, and I mean, like sometimes you don't get no headway at all.
So you tell me nobody no here on the cry?
Nobody here we cry, man. We do that thing we're doing over and over every day. Today I'm the past going out, and I see one sailboat. We don't got no license at all. The people are on dock. They don't have no license.
And that is against the rules, right?
Exactly, that's against the rule.
Because if you guys may participate in any kind of activity, then may be a penalty, right?
Exactly. And then they say we have to get free license, you have to pay for a license, and then people are just come in and just do what they want.
How long on they face that type of challenges?
Well, this are like probably like about 15 years or more. I think they happen. First it used to happen, but farther up the village, up in my beach area there, you know.
Okay.
People,
so that your
people out there. Yeah, my 2 cents with it there.
My 2 cents is that when you have foreigners that come and invest and taking out their friends, they're saying that's not complete compared to any of the local that has to go out and pay for fuel at a higher price than whatever otherwise, or at the same price as the fuel is, but they're charging the same price and not using even tour guides and stuff like that otherwise, okay? Which is really unfair to us.
It put on struggle pound, no?
Yeah, people in general, yes. Because the tour guides have to go through the classes, everything, and study and update themselves. When you have foreigners just going to go out and circle on their own, and then that could destroy our reef at the same time.
Some of these foreigners are qualified?
No, they're not.
From where you know?
We know, exactly.
All right, and what that do? Does that cause one problem with the local fishermen for their everyday living?
Yes, it does. Especially when they go into fly fishing and stuff like that. It's the thing that we are trying to protect. They are going against and start using the same thing we are doing, same resources they are using otherwise.
All right, and that your 2 cents?
Yes.
We're coming all the way from Placencia, and this is part 1 in Placencia. Let's find out about some more of the issues that people have and get ready for part 2.
up, pick up the pace. So before we got the call from school, we just to kind of make the point that I was making to open the show, that we have to understand that not because we've been able to so far push back on the idea of drilling offshore for oil, and the people ask, why not? And that argument, that conversation has gone, but it's not gone, because there will always be very loud voices, maybe not in the forefront, but apparently they might have come to the forefront last week, right here, saying that this is something that will happen, and at the highest level of leadership, this is something that they want to do. And it reminds us to you cannot ever take your eye off the prize. You never reach a point where you feel like, well, there's no need for you to be vigilant because, we have a moratorium and all of that. We have to remain very focused on where we are and what is important to us, and what should be important to us is that which right now we have in hand, that while not perfect, represents opportunity for many, represents a level of economic stability, and has a level of inclusion to it. There are various industries in our country where are not inclusive. It's controlled, monopolies, hard for you to get in, you need a certain level of investment if you want to participate in an activity. But every day, we marine wealth puts food on table, every day, every single day. Pound for pound, whether that the marine wealth, whether that the fact that some people want to walk on the golden sanding beaches of the golden sands of the south, or they want to relax and do what they do in Konya, or they want to go and snorkel, or they want to go down to the Blue Hole, or all the various beautiful places that we have along the coastline. Our marine wealth, they're there. That's the bird in hand. And when you look for jeopardize that, you have to make sure that where you to do it for, want to defend and do better than what we got right here. Because you can't be two things at the same time in that regard. You can't be schizophrenic. We can't say we're about sustainable development. We have gone in, as I think was mentioned by Brother Garbutt yesterday, we have gone and we have mortgaged a significant portion of our marine wealth for lower the debt and lower the immediacy of the debt crisis because of the super bond. So you have decided that you choose that, but at the same time now you would want to figure out how you could also go and dig and drill into that. But fishermen can't go fish in a different zones. Like, just to say, like, we have not heard this from nobody official, but again, this matter came up on the show last week. I didn't hear it, but I just feel like the time for push back on anything that when it's just a whisper, when it's just a whisper it. You don't wait till they shout it. You have to respond when they whisper it. So I really want to just finish off the point. No to offshore drilling, then no to offshore drilling now, and no to offshore drilling going in the future. We're going to take one break because we're behind a bit here, and then we come back with more WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. All right, welcome back to the WB Wake Up Believes Morning Vibes. Mose Hyde hosting on this Tuesday morning, the 18th of February, 2025. Just so you know, the phone line works, it's open, and all you need to do is call, and you will be live inside the conversation. 280-5848, just in case you're one of those few who are not familiar, or maybe you've forgotten a little. Well, it's 280-5848. That's the line that you can participate in the conversation and express your views and thoughts. One of the things we kind of discussed yesterday, and I think that's an important conversation, and I know that when we get Ewart Garbutt in here, there's a lot that he wants to express, a lot that he wants to get out there. And respect our 2 cents come crew all the way down on the peninsula. Who know they enjoy themselves, no? Easy. So we have to recognize, like I put it yesterday, that where we enter in and now that age of ultra selfishness, blunt, no apology, like there's always a subtlety to the selfishness, always one kind of diplomacy to it. We know people are about themselves, and I'm talking about the level of nation states, right? We know that people don't give you nothing for free. We know that you always have to be careful, and you know, when you deal with the empire that they want, and they don't really, you know, when they give you something, that because they have significant expectations, and that is the norm. But now, times that by 1,000, and you get the era where they enter in and now. What has been thrown down, the gauntlet that has been thrown down in just the first couple of weeks of this new administration in Washington is that we without apology, and we don't even want to be shy about it, we don't even want to be upfront. We for we interests, 100. We withdraw from this, we withdraw from that, and you know, even internally, there are wrecking ball they go on. That the new world order where they get flipped in a matter of just days, couple of weeks, right? But days, 14, 15 days, 20 days in, that they would there with the kind of mentality where they prevail. So you could play like that no mean nothing to you. You could feel like maybe, well, you are a smart man or a smart woman your way through it, as I believe we tend to think. Or we could just say, hey, that the go on here, how we are respond, how we are be selfish for we then, since that the way you to promote, how we are be selfish for we, how we are be we. But we have a call. Krem, good morning. Krem, good morning. Yeah, got you, brother. You're on the air, bro. Go ahead. So, what you could do that, listen to me through the phone, because I think right now you do listen to me through your device. Listen to me through the phone. Oh, okay, okay. Go ahead then, brother.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm straight on the topic, right? But I got to read it. I watch how the Prime Minister call the election and thing, right? But you know, normally election time, they have the areas then fix up the street and like that and so. Not even back out the book. I mean, like, since they dissolved the whole city and all of everything, like, that's been not now given enough for the election, no?
Well, I don't know what they do or no and do. I know that because you dissolve the house, no mean that the ministries, you know, still they operate, and ministers and CEOs, you know, still they are in departments. So there is no excuse for works not to be done.
Yeah, but I would have said them in the ball, they are able rain. No rain, no rain, no.
All right.
Some of the streets, back on Lake Hyde, especially, back on Antelope, Penny Roof. Man, I mean, nobody know how lasagna or all your room outside your stove. I just pack it, everything. I don't worry about nobody or nothing.
Okay, my brother.
Just my 2 cents per barrel.
All right, sir. This is the WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Just a quick make the man and people understand. I think there was a 2 cent cam was supposed to get done Panesia or what the dissolving of the house supposed to mean. And to make you understand that the dissolving of the house don't mean that government stop operate. It just means that the House of Representatives that has closed down. There's a need for a 30-day period before you have elections. But they're not like, okay, now they be more pan empty. That's not how it works. All right. It's 16 minutes after 8 o'clock, and the issue of how we become selfish for we. And I think this was what was being expressed yesterday by E-Word, is that every single thing we're available to we, every single asset, we have to make sure that it get maximized in and we will provide the benefit. The people in where have their rights here. And if that are not something where that one priority, then we act in our way where they betray the interests of the people. That a regular, that a normal time. But when you enter now this season with part everybody, they say to you, we about we. And that's at the end of the story. Krem, good morning, WB.
Oh, yes, good morning, Mose.
What's going on, brother?
This is 30-second call about 2 cents, 4-point cap security question or journalism. Yeah, pretty soon in Presencia, you won't be able to walk those beaches because everything is like the tourists that own beach property, they don't want you to walk on the beachfront property, which is for the Presencia people. You can walk on the beach because you own
Well, I get a lot of feedback from you, though, bro. I get feedback from you.
Alright, let me come to
No. I just think you need. Huh?
I'm on a train. I'm going to call you back in a minute. I'm on the ground train. I'm going to call you back in a minute.
All right, brother. Give thanks. So, the obvious thing is that you always have to have collaboration. You always have partnerships with people where they come. So it's not about closing the gates and closing the doors, but it's that any relationship where we have with people where they collaborate and they come from other places, we have the call. Krem, good morning, WB.
Yes, good morning, Brother Mose.
Good morning. I get some feedback from you, my brother.
Yes, hold on.
Better, yeah, man.
All right, yeah, just lower the volume. Yes, Brother Mose. I totally endorse the characterization of where we are, I guess, at the level of the nation state. It's the age of selfishness. One way to look at it is nation states drift in between two extremes. They're drifting between internationalism and nationalism. Internationalism is about cooperation, it's about friendship, and you see this reflected in some of the global challenges such as climate change. You see it reflected in issues such as space exploration. You see it reflected in issues such as refugee crisis at the international level. And I believe post-World War II, for example, there was this general commitment to putting in place those institutions that should steer us away from global conflicts. But almost we are drifting in the opposite direction now, where it's, as a unit now, it's all nationalism. It's what is in the best national interest. And yes, in terms of extreme examples, it's the new Donald Trump administration but it's definitely not only that. I think where it became rude and crude was with the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. And that's on the conflict side. There's no more world peace. None other than Russia, which is a part of the Security Council, basically invaded another nation. This is like a no-no. This is like you're breaking the first commandment. Again, when you look at Donald Trump now, this is the Monroe Doctrine 2.0, where this one is blatant and in your face. And the Monroe Doctrine, remember, was something that says to the Europeans that, and again, Jews used the term my backyard, and he had a very interesting narrative there. But essentially, America said to the rest of the world, i.e. the Europeans who were the ultra-colonists, colonizers really, that this is my backyard, the Americas are my backyard, and you shouldn't be here. You guys concentrate in Africa with the colonization ethos and growth east. But my backyard are the Americas, so still to this. And what we have with Donald Trump now is, you know what? We were annexed to Panama Canal, we were whole Greenland, and we will, among other things, we will do what we call ethnic cleansing. We will call it deportation, but it's really ethnic cleansing. That is what it is. So, to your point, yes, we are drifting in a direction that is not kind to humanity, Mose.
I think it's like, to tell you and we've had this conversation, but what I feel, I listened to Mr. Zelensky's address in Munich over the weekend. I listened to it once, and then I went over it for specific sections. I feel like it's important. It's an important speech to listen to. And I realized, well, if Mr. Zelensky is where he's at, and he is, whatever, ally, whatever to them, and the sense I get is that what is creeping into his and his nation's consciousness is that they're expendable. And if they're expendable, then what are we? And so when you have a situation where I don't know how much 100,000 of those people have been killed as a result of a war, and they are told up front, for that support and help where we give you, I need 50% of all the minerals were in your ground. These are wild people. Forget, I know they are getting a anything and not fair, and I don't spend no time getting another war. Where they go on there, the war, right? But why they look upon is that in the middle of them people, they bleed upon the battlefield. The sole empire, nation state upon the planet Earth says to them publicly, no in our discreet diplomatic note, no, publicly, for make everybody see. You see all your minerals, where you got the lithium, where you got the all the rare earth where you have, I want 50% of that up front for me. That they tell you that like you there the war for your survival, and my man tell you, boy, if you, and while they tell you that, I also they tell you that you better prepared for accept whatever terms I negotiate to make this done with my new friend. That they tell you that there are no gloves. Listen, global realities and where has never been some kind of pleasant thing. Nobody do nothing for free. Nobody do nothing. Nobody care about you. That's the norm. So we know the try say that all of a sudden things get hateful. Things have been, anytime, that's our empire about conquest, and you just do your next best after that. Get that, understood. The imperialism and empire building not just begin. This particular flavor, the intensity of this flavor, like you got some pepper we burn, and then you got some pepper we tear off your mouth. So pepperbun, but when they got some variety, you know, Mary Sharp got the mild and the where you go, mild and hot and extra hot.
Yes.
The brand of Empire Building where we are get now going forward, at least under this new brother, you know, that is extra hot. And yeah.
But you would appreciate that it's not a constant, it drifts.
Yes. Yeah.
Left to right, etc. Depending on how you look at it. And I think that the point that I want to make is that most 2 decades ago, you couldn't go to a conference without people talking about globalization.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk about globalization no more.
Yeah.
Strictly what is in my immediate interest at the nation state level. And it has this overreaching effect because it's not only Moscow that has overreached and said, you know, we will do a blitzkrieg and storm into Ukraine. It is the United States now threatening little Gaza and saying, you know what? We couldn't fix this. We want to fix this. So, you know, to your point, and I don't think that we have separate arguments, but I just wanted to make the point that it is this existential drift.
I don't think we have an argument at all. I think it's just the way that I'm framing it. We had the same consciousness, so we got the same understanding of it. We just frame it in a different flavors with different emphasis, but it still amongst to where your experience out here that's some serious problems. And if how you react to that, like I there and I would have said that you know, when we have Brother E-Word come on and said to you, boy, we got industry, but we there at the bottom in it. We have very low equity in it. We got for we country got some niceness about it. For we country got richness about it, but for we equity in it low. For we percentage of ownership low. For we percentage of involvement at the highest economic activity level in the country, it's low. So if we could watch some other people decide, boy, then they kick out for we brother and sister out of the country, and anything when they give, they cut off that from you, and everything else now when they give come with strings attached with X amount of expectation and demands. If that the way they know, we part then all about themselves. Some people might not like it, but how the hell I know I start think about how I want to be about myself too. You can't be no globalist in the age of ultra nationalism and ultra you would have said ultra selfishness. You cannot. That you would have been an idiot to continue to operate like that.
What do you know most again at the political level, you know, it's drifting in that at the global level, politically, it's drifting in the direction of nationalism. To your point, for example, in relation to oil and the whole, perhaps, quiet conversation about exploration of oil in the marine environment again. I haven't heard about it, but I'm just hearing you saying it. When you look at that, for example, Mose, that's a shift in gear. And there's an ideological edge to it in the sense that the new regime in Washington, one of the first things out of the president's mouth was, drill, baby, drill. And you know, that is shutting down the whole conversation on alternative energy. And so now, in a sense, you're kind of undoing the whole issue of let us treat the planet kinder, because this is the only home that we have collectively. And where we are headed collectively, and this I know America, it's in the interest of America, it's in the interest of Russia, it's in the interest of all the nation states of the world to sort of work towards a sustainable planet. But if you are saying drill, baby, drill, and that drill, baby, drill spills over to Little Belize, let's drill. We have gone through that conversation, and to a large extent, well, in principle, but the people that says, you know what, Belize is chock full of natural resources, and if there's oil in the seafloor, let's leave it there, because we have other assets that we can explore, and it's a kind of green consciousness to development. That can go out the window with this shift in ideology. technology moves. So that's to your point, you know.
I get it. I understand the point you're making.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Mose. Well, as for normal.
Well, just to clarify, the conversation was actually one I didn't hear, but that was reported yesterday morning. That happened on the WB last week when I was not here, and that was a conversation between Brother Nouri and Brother Lizaraga, Arturo Lizaraga, where he Lizaraga as a kind of a free agent to maneuver through the offices of government, saying that that is what he feels is going to be on the agenda for the next administration. And so I felt it's very appropriate to revisit that issue when it's being whispered about, and not to wait until they start to make a lot of noise about that. It's now we want to be very clear, especially in light of the fact that this new president, as you mentioned, one of the first words were drill. One of his first actions was to withdraw from the Paris Agreement. So we know how these things are infectious. We know how we tend to be foot, and not in a good way. We don't foot the best things. We kind of foot some of the lousiest things where we could follow. But thanks for the call, my brother.
All right, my brother.
It's WB. We take a break. We'll be back.
In Belize, we value our families.
All right, 8:39 inside the WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Mose Hyde here on this Tuesday morning. 18 February 2025. It's 8:39. You can call in. The telephone number is 280-5848. 280-5848. That's the direct line for you to participate in the conversation. We love hearing from you. You know, we learn a lot when people call in, and give thanks. You know, one of the points being made by George that, you know, there's a natural, there's a kind of a swinging pendulum in, you know, the way the world flows, and so he's saying that it's not something that has not happened before, but you know, you have a situation where part, you know, you have this fever of nationalism and what's going on. Krem, good morning, WB.
I'm just trying to get an observation on what Mr. Hyde said. Do you agree? He said it's the latest version of the Monroe Doctrine that Mr. Trump has said to him, okay, over there, Africa and Asia, you have to deal with that. That's up to you to trade and deal with the Americans. But I don't get this understanding. I get the understanding that he's going for the whole world. Because if he's not going for the whole world, then why did he lay down that ultimatum to Ukraine? Half of your 50%, and that's what he's telling them, bearing in mind that he changes his mind as he goes along. So today 50%, and quite easily tomorrow it will be 100%, right?
Yeah. It's an incredible demand to make public, isn't it? Like
Exactly. And bear in mind that the Congo Rwanda is being allowed to enter the DRC to repeat what it had done before. But this time, in my opinion, it is going to secure what it didn't secure before. Because you don't hear any uproar, leave the call coming from Washington about Kagame's behavior. And
I think it was you who, I think it was...
just put they're putting a railway into the DRC that will take the minerals to the Atlantic coast. And I haven't heard that Trump has stopped that and is reversing that. That's even reversing. Don't you think he wants that to go ahead, no?
That's that now Bobby Winner no want to stop suck. They've been sucking that for.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he will go for.
I think you said it. I never thought about it this way. That Rwanda is to the Congo what Israel is to the Middle East. It is the battering ram of the empire's foreign policy.
And Kagame is ready to go that way.
Oh, he is ready. He's eager.
That's a good word. You see?
He was quick to come out and say that. He was quick to come out and say he's very pleased with Trump and very pleased with. Yeah, he no one on there.
He is.
Yeah.
When you study the export figures for minerals, Rwanda is not producing all those export figures. Those export figures have to be coming from contraband, from somewhere else, but it's not coming out of Rwanda. All of that is not coming out of Rwanda. So it's coming out of the DRC. And they are willing to let the DRC. So my question though is, when Biden went there to inaugurate the railway, had they already planned that Rwanda would invade? And because if it is secured in the hands of somebody like Kagame, then you know your control is guaranteed, right? Very much guaranteed. But if it is in the hands of the others, you don't have that guarantee. I think, no? Anyway, but that's also now, because I am not...
I think if he means it, I think if he means it, at least this is my interpretation of what he says, that it's the Monroe Doctrine 2.0. If he means it in the spirit that the Monroe Doctrine was an expansion, it was an aggressive expansion of the United States in this hemisphere, and if he means it that the Monroe Doctrine 2.0 in that spirit is now an aggressive...
Now it's the Trump doctrine.
Yes, and now it's an expansion and aggression all over. It is the same...
All over, the entire planet.
Yeah.
Everybody has to... And I think Europe understands that, and that's why I am questioning whether the army, the defense they are setting in place is only to deal with Russia and China. I don't think that it is to deal with the Atlantic.
Just to connect it to home, it's unbelievable to me that CARICOM has not organized a special meeting to deal with what...
Exactly.
It's incredible to me.
The African continent is doing it. Europeans are doing it. The Middle East is also on the right, and they are on the particular period, but they are expected to give in. He's trying to isolate Saudi Arabia and make Saudi Arabia into a favored child status. So Saudi Arabia can be the implementing agent in the region, but Saudi Arabia can't do that because that region will explode. That entire area will explode, and they know that. And then there's the Far East. What would he be arming India the way he is letting out to arm India? You understand, no? I don't remember hearing India is at war, huh?
Well, I guess because of the hostilities between India and China.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, Mose.
All right. This is WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes, and you know, it's just that we're in the middle of what up to this point is campaign season. There is always the possibility, because of court filings and injunctions coming out of those Belizeans and Belizean peace movement, to object to the election being on the 12th of March. So those are matters which the court will decide. That's one comment, but until such a decision is made contrary to what has been laid out by the Prime Minister, our election is set for 12th of March. So officially we're in the middle of a campaign season. We are here, all manners of positions put forward, but we as a people have to demand and expect clarity as to, especially now, if not ever before, what exactly is our game plan when it comes to how we navigate the new realities on the planet. Like, those are not things which should be back when that time come. Any country you would have, that would have been a significant part of the tabled campaign platforms. This is how we see this. This is how we want to be. There's nothing like that. There's no conversation around that. There's no conversation around what our position is going to be, as it relates to our security issues, that it relates to how it is we deal with navigating geopolitically. We in the middle of that. We in the middle of great turbulence. And so, as far as I'm concerned, it is a logic-based expectation for 1 year that what we are doing. Being told with our good allies, being given those platitudes, like, we've always been these great allies, we've always had our common interests, and we'll work together, and blah, 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 blah. Those are cliches and platitudes where they stone we with. That's not the new reality where they go on here. The new reality is a man, they tell a man when they dead on the battlefield, yo, I need 50% of all your precious minerals for make I even continue give you the time of the day, really. Because right now, we cozy up with who to fight with you. You want get for we attention, 50% of we got there, we want. While you bleed. You don't wait for when everything wrap up and when when you sort out how everything will balance off and we bring the receipts for where we done gear and we balance the account. No, we balance the account while you dead on the battlefield. That's the 2025, yo. That is as graphic as it gets in the world of geopolitics. That how you approach it. Zero feelings, zero ideology. It's just this a straight transaction. Where to get? Give me that. Run it. How we protect for ourselves, for we interest, for make sure that for we level economic distress not get completely skyrocket. We don't go and level economic distress. The economic distress for inflation can possibly get better if we got tariff wars to go on between two of the biggest manufacturing countries on the face of the earth. If you got tariffs get placed on steel coming out of China, how we get with steel? We get steel. How we still come? If we still come through states, we still come directly from China. How we get with steel? The big tariff war to go on. How you think the tariff they add on? You think that the trade wars where they engulf the planet now got nothing to do with we? That's not so it work. But when I take this call and then got a break, I pressed the wrong button on the call. Please call back. Yeah. There are things where we have to think about, and I don't dare to pretend to be no foreign policy expert or none of that. Just observing and feeling one sense of tremendous sense of unease and but we're gonna call. Krem, good morning, WB.
Morning, Mose, morning, Believe. Just one quick call because I know they're at the level like you are, Sister Sandra.
I know there are no level, sister. You did a higher level than me, but got you.
No. So I just want to say, you see what I was in touch on everybody and said Kagame, that's for them guys. Because the same Kagame, this administration won't bring officials instantly. The man not changing. The man got the same mindset, the same character. His involvement anti-people has been consistent. But I just want to remind the Belizean people who this administration is and who they're fed up with. We're going to start memory and usually in a level of conversation we disconnect for it quick. But that's why we have to think with our own eyes. Because consistently this administration show that they're not the sleep with for their own eyes. They're the people that other people eyes. And I know that listening to the conversation more, and I know that they get cool because a lot of them don't have the interest, they don't have the knowledge, and they make the connection. So cases like this important to have their level of conversation, not only for we the everyday people, but for the administration know that we, the land will see with your own eye, and I don't know what happened after we land it, but that's our concern. You have the level of conversation, and then still go on like they're not. That like, when I listen to the news and I hear for the action, nothing not change. So when we throw at this point, Lord, I mean, like, just continue to act like,
well, I think some of what they do were important for though. We probably understand as you have made into a kind of a battle cry that we have to be about saving ourselves and looking after our interests. And so you end up with a voice like say, but a E-word coming up yesterday morning, they try build along the coast alliances with people where they face the same things and want to be and make it be about action rather than just words. I think that we know we always have one ringside view to when the things where you urge people to do actually start happening. And so you probably have to have confidence that people that with the communicating a way people could understand, and then in their understanding. So even if we not there when one political candidate going at somebody's house and then they have that conversation, we don't want to hear when that person say, but I won't want to do like how Trump to go on bad. Without no feeling about that. Like we don't there to hear that conversation. But it's very likely that you will have some people who bring up that issue because they don't disconnect when they hear really reason like this. You feel me? So and we know that when somebody hears something from a show and then so well, I don't know where Mose talk, but make I go look into that. Make I go Google that. Make I go search for that. Make I go on YouTube to see some of that and then expand for their own knowledge base. Like we are not there to see every single molecule of progress take place. You understand? But we have to understand, at least you have to get confident that human beings have a natural self-preservation wiring, and I know that we believe in information. I think it's just now how we take advantage of that, how we build alliances, how we organize, as you would often say, and how we achieve certain results we want. But every time I hear one brother like Brother E-word where like I hear you that yeah, right? But when I hear Brother E-word where he operate for his own frequency, for his own community. We just happen to buck on the road, and like out of that bucking on the road just gonna vibe. Like I never had a conversation with that brother before last year, but when I hear the brother talk, I know I like that frequency there. I like that energy there. I don't know all the greatness. I don't know all the sins, but I feel the frequency. And I connect to it, and I know that that one sovereign energy. I know that that one independent. That don't mean that I agree with every ideological view of the world where he got, or that he have the same one where I have. That very unlikely. But a frequency, a foundational value set, and where he believe in a connection immediately. Just come out of the blue, out of the south. Same way with, we could list some people where are just like that. Organically, I like that energy there. That's what we have for the bill wrong. And so I got confidence in that. That's how I see it. That there is a purpose for coming in the morning and talk about things where I barely know about, but feel at the very least what I want to do, that trigger our curiosity and our interest and our seeking. Just by talking about one topic that you got some people start to seek out more information upon it. Because I just know what I am able to read and what I'm able to follow as one person. Same thing with you. And you read far more than me. You read books, I read articles. So you're deeper within that sense. But maybe I have more immediate, current little things going on where, how that go. But otherwise than that for see how people take it upon themselves, for see how they think you connect to weak. I know they talk about them people in an abstract. I know I sit down here and talk about Ukraine in an abstract. I know I sit down here and talk about Gaza in an abstract. I know they talk none of them things in an abstract. That because them things we know they're on a different planet, and every one of these current realities on the planet have one bearing upon we, immediate bearing, even if we don't see it clearly. So that's saying a lot, but I never intend to say this now. But it's just for you always come and know the thread for pull and make everything just. Anyway, sister.
I really appreciate that help. It helped me to hear you say that, but I want to know the one your book will recommend got me shocked right now. Gideon 5, Secret of History of the Mossad, where sometimes I think it's better when I know things, guys.
It's yo, I meet her sister. I don't know where. I meet her sister. Where I booked the sister now? I booked the sister in the pharmacy, Brody's pharmacy. But I never get a name, I never get a number. And the sister say she like weed. And say right now the weed one thing pan operation in Afghanistan, and I was blown away, right? And so I said good. I tell her for link me or I try link you because then I got some book where I could share with her and whatnot, right? But I don't got a name or number. So I just want to tell her I don't forget, and that anytime you could just pull up that zinc and then make we connect. Because yeah, the power of reading, I don't do nearly as much as I used to, but because you have to read more news than anything now. So I hardly get to read books, because by the time I don't go through articles and watch press conference and all of that, yeah, I can't really take on no big book. But definitely respect people where pick up that habit reading, and I really would hope that at the very least by having these conversations that people don't feel like we either project myself or we project myself as experts. We just to say they are not thing very important for we know about. So please indulge in it, find out about it, stay current with it, try connect it to how you can have implications, and if the only thing you achieve that makes somebody right now in this campaign season as one candidate, where you think in store for Belize with where they go on right now in the world, because you get a sense that right now the world changed in a very significant way in a very short period of time. The rhythm, I don't tell you the rhythm. I don't tell you whether the rhythm that it become that it wasn't evil before or whatever. That I know we don't talk about it. Just that the rhythm changed, that the turbulence real, and we have to know timing we depend. We can't souls and that's so kind of play. We can't work that way.
You got lyrics, madam. I really appreciate the clarity and the briefing this morning. It makes me hopeful. Big respect to you
All right.
and the work that you do. Big respect to the come this morning. Only the people want this.
All right, we go to the final break. We come back and wrap. All right, welcome back. This is WB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. We are done for today. With health and strength, we come back tomorrow morning for the Wednesday morning edition of Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. Salute to the team at Creme Radio, Larry G, at XTV WUB, Mr. Cliff Lewis, the director, Mr. Alexi Belial, and to the 2 Cents Cam crew, no, Alexi? Down pa the peninsula, no? Working hard, punishing to bring, huh? Easy, Mr. Brick, easy, Mr. Wagner, sir. All right. Believe, stand strong, stand firm. For now, we're gone!
Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB. Be yourself, see yourself. This is a show, my people. Belize our hope, so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out. It's the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love, respect, unselfishness, and